So I'm getting asked a lot, what is going to be the impact of the November election on crypto? And my answer to that is the impact is already happening. We've seen a lot of politics impacting crypto, especially over the last 6 months. If we date back and look at the passing or the spot Bitcoin ETH being allowed to go forward, if you will, there was a political wind that really pushed the ability of that product to go forward. Those of us who were in the market, who were issuers, thought that it wasn't going to happen at all. And then suddenly the tide changed. And when you look behind the curtain, it really felt like it was politics behind allowing this product to go forward. And what do I mean by that? Let me break it down a little more as we move now closer to November. We've had different viewpoints. Actually, we've had people on both sides of the aisle in Congress, in both houses, have been incredibly supportive of crypto. And we're seeing over time, and we've seen especially in the last year or two, the education level, the knowledge level of members of Congress has increased quite a lot. There's still a lot of work to be done, but you see people on both sides of the aisle that have an incredible amount of knowledge about crypto now and have been a motive force in some of the groundbreaking movements we've seen in Congress. So there's still more to be done, but we're seeing a lot of momentum in Congress, which is great. So what happens in November? Again, it's already happening. We have many people looking at, okay, who's going to be the best candidate for crypto? We've had very little coming out of Harris's campaign on crypto. A lot of us have been waiting, what's she going to say, what's she going to say? There were a lot of folks in her ear. And a lot of people guessing, is she just waiting till if she wins the election, then she's going to just kind of bring everybody together and figure it out? Or is she behind the scenes right now trying to figure it out? We're not sure. We have people kind of bingo counting. Remember when you were in class, you have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, bingo counting. How many times has she said blockchain? It's usually lumped in with AI, crypto, etc. It hasn't been much. She did come out recently with a statement that moved the markets. So when I say politics is happening now, not just November, her statement moved the markets, and you saw Bitcoin price increase, you saw ETF inflow increase. But it wasn't a big statement. It was actually a little along the lines of what you used to hear from Cory Booker, kind of pre-FTX. It's an access argument, which is a great argument, and it's typically what you see coming more from kind of the Democratic side of the aisle. Access to finance, like free, easy access to finance, right? So it's a good argument, it's a good base for support, but I think many people were expecting a meteor response. If she was going to speak on the topic, great pinpoint, but so niche-y. The hope was that there would have been a little more there if she was going to come out with a statement. However, as I said, it did move the market. On the Trump side, we've had a lot of dialogue, a lot of support, a lot of forward motion in terms of we're hearing that there are a lot of reach outs to those of us in the crypto industry, looking at what's the transition team going to look like, statements about what's going to happen with the SEC. We've had an SEC that has been somewhat antagonistic with the crypto businesses, as many are aware. Number of enforcement actions. There's been a call for folks in the crypto business to work towards a regulatory framework, work towards sitting down, rolling up the sleeves, and looking at just creating market structure legislation, looking at, okay, who is going to be the regulator for these assets? And unfortunately, we see more of the enforcement action. As recently as last week, we've had a couple news stories come down on this topic. So Trump has been more active and vocal on his views on what he would like to see happen. And he's called for no more Gensler if he's to win the election. We're not sure with Kamala Harris what will happen. I think it's such a meaty post. I think most of us assume that she will choose a new person, but there will be a longer tail on the Gensler era. He will have a graceful exit. So the base assumption is that we're in a better world regardless with Harris or Trump than we were with Biden. With Biden, it was largely ignored and it was left to the SEC. So regardless of who wins in November, we are in a better space, and you're seeing some of those impacts on the market. But kind of where we end up in November will impact how quickly we can move forward on different types of regulation within the House of Congress.